Discuss the President's 2024 trade agenda. I'm going to start by touching on some of the ways in which the Congress and the Biden administration can work together to build a trade agenda that'll supercharge America's diverse economic base and create good-paying and innovative jobs across Oregon and the nation. And I'll start with trade enforcement, because without trade enforcement, our trade laws aren't worth the paper they're written on. India's wheat subsidies, for example, distort prices and make it harder for Oregon farmers to compete in the Asian market. Mexico's illegal fishing practices are hurting the environment, and its harmful energy regulations are undermining our clean energy suppliers. China has a rap sheet of unfair subsidies and practices so long that if I were to go through it, we would be here until dinner time. So I'm going to spare everyone that filibuster. Every single one of these unfair practices by foreign countries is directly hurting workers and companies in America, including in my home state. There's a lot more USTR can be doing, in my view, with the tools it has, and we want to work together to raise issues directly with trading partners, starting dispute settlement, or opening 301 investigations into unfair trade practices. In my view, that's the only way to hold trade cheats accountable and level the playing field for American workers and businesses. Second issue, trade barriers. Our economy thrives when our workers can make stuff in America and grow stuff in America and add value to it in America and then ship it all over the world. But you just can't do it with all these barriers. In my home state, 1 out of 4 jobs relies on exports. We have world-renowned exports from wheat to potatoes to wine to high-tech electronics, everything in between. But the success of Oregon's farmers and workers depends on the administration's knocking down barriers to help them compete in the global market and get their products on shelves. That's why, in addition to enforcing the rules on the books to hold trade cheats accountable, I want, working closely with the administration and USTR, to play offense. It's not enough to sell domestically. The United States has to expand opportunities in the global market for American exporters across all our industries. The negotiations with Taiwan, Kenya, Indo-Pacific countries could net big wins for our exporters in agriculture and manufacturing. But we're going to have to work with the administration to push even harder to crack down on tactics like unfair labeling, duplicative testing requirements, and ag regulations that aren't supported by science and are designed to put American workers, farmers, and ranchers at a disadvantage. Before I wrap up, I also want to note, particularly in my state, how important it is that we have a standard for high-tech, innovative industries. The United States needs to be a leader in setting the rules of the road for digital trade so our creators and innovators get a fair shake in foreign markets. And we're not going to take a backseat to anybody in the process when it comes to privacy, security, and antitrust enforcement. While lawmakers look to domestic tech regulation, we must also push for digital trade rules that are going to protect a free and open internet, help small businesses, and push back on the China model of digital surveillance and censorship. I'm very pleased to see that the White House is taking charge of this issue, working closely with all in the administration and vowing to work with the Congress on this issue. There are diverse stakeholders and agencies. I think the White House position of a whole-of-government approach is a wise one. I look forward to working on a digital trade position that reflects the need of American workers, businesses, and consumers. The American people finally deserve to know what the government's priorities are with regard to trade policy. I am concerned, and I've made this point to the administration, a number of people in the administration. I think that the administration needs to do more to work with the Congress and make sure the American people aren't kept in the dark. To this end, I want to make sure that the USTR and other parts of the Biden administration are clear and straightforward with Congress and the public. When you take meetings with foreign officials, it isn't enough to say, well, there was a range of bilateral concerns raised. That doesn't tell my constituents a whole lot about trade. We need to be told what trade barriers the USTR and other parts of the administration are trying to break down, how it's going to help American workers and businesses. If negotiators are meeting with the Japanese, tell us if you're pushing to get Oregon potatoes on shelves in Japan. When officials engage with Indonesia, tell us if you're pushing against unfair licensing requirements that hurt Oregon dairy farmers. If there are negotiations with Kenya, tell us how you'll push them to improve their environmental and labor laws or bring down barriers to biotech products. Fishermen in Newport and ranchers in Prineville, they're asking me, tell me exactly how the administration and this trade office is helping their businesses thrive in the global market. So we need more light shed on trade policy in America, and we are going to pursue that diligently. Enforcing laws on the books and making our government's trade policies clear is a good place to start, finally, in leveling the playing field. I look forward to today's discussion and working closely with the administration and all our colleagues on both sides of the aisle on this Committee on Trade Matters. Senator Crapo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and welcome Ambassador Tai.